Uh, Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Housing Committee meeting of Community Board 11 for January 3rd, 2022. I'm John Green, interim chair of the committee. But before we begin, beginning the meeting at 6:33 p.m. But we all also have some ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. If there are any CB11 members, if you have a question about board business, please, or to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. Or everything that you need should be at the bottom of your screen. And if you have technical difficulties or can't find it, just let Ms. Pierre know, and she will help you to correct the problem. Excuse me. The chat function should not be used for CB11 business. If there's everything should be above board and spoken out in the meeting instead of in private. The chat should only be used to get information from anybody that wants to give a phone number or an email address or something like that. That's fine, but business of the meeting should not be discussed in the chat. Oh, if you have any questions, please keep them brief and on topic. To members of the public, if you have a question or a comment, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. Call to order. Marlene, you take attendance and we can get the meeting underway.
Okay. Stephanie Arroyo.
Here.
Thank you. Raja Flores.
Here.
Thank you. Green.
Here.
Thank you. Robert Harvey.
Present.
Thank you. Jada Heredia. Ivy Hume.
Present.
Thank you. Alonzo Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Robin Krinsky.
Here.
Thank you. Beverly Mcfarlane.
Present.
Thank you. And Candy Vives Vasquez. You have quorum, John.
Okay, thank you, Marlene. If there are no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting will be adopted. Are there any objections? I guess since there are no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. And if there are no objections, the minutes for last month's meeting shall be adopted as well. Are there any objections?
I have a question regarding the minutes.
Who is that?
Beverly Mcfarlane.
What is the question?
In regards to the attendance for presence and who was absent, you have Candy twice.
I do.
Yes. You have her as present at the meeting and you also have her as absent.
Okay.
And just to make a correction for the minutes.
That is appreciated because I sure didn't see it myself. So I appreciate you bring it up and it will be corrected.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So any other questions about the December minutes? Right, so the thing is that they will be adopted with the correction will be made later on. Okay. Okay. As far as announcements are concerned, the only thing I have one thing to say. As you know, with this pandemic going on, the one thing that we should be concerned about is the eviction moratorium expires in 12 days. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the committee. I am hopeful that the powers that be will extend the moratorium, because with this Omicron variant raging like it is, it's going to get worse before it gets better as far as this virus is concerned. And what a lot of people have gone back to work, and also the businesses have closed again. So it's back to the same position that was a few months ago when they extended it. So hopefully someone will have the good sense to extend it within the next 12 days before people will wind up being out in the streets. And that's I'm going to stop right there and not get on my soapbox. So, but I just felt that had to be said. Are there any other announcements made by members of the committee?
I don't have any announcement. This is Beverly Mcfarlane. May I speak?
Sure.
But I want to know, also expiring will be the virtual meeting, for open meeting law. And have anybody heard anything on that?
Well, I haven't heard anything about it, but I expressed I asked the question to former Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer at the last full board meeting, and I asked, is there any way that this could be done before the state legislature broke for Christmas, because they had to come back for special session in September to extend it to January. So, and apparently no one has done anything about it. So they're going to have to come back in the special session if they're not back in session before the end of next week. So that's my hope, that if they have to come back in special session, that they do, and because it's going to be impossible to find venues to have meetings, just like it was back in September. So, like I said, I'm hoping that someone will have the good sense to bring the legislature back in session if they have to.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. And any other questions or announcements?
John, I don't see any hands raised from the committee, but there is a hand raised in the attendees section. I'm not sure if that person has an announcement to make. Jim Biddle.
Yes, you have the floor, sir. If you're speaking, you're muted and we can't hear you.
Okay, the next person that has their hand raised, John, is Beverly Mcfarlane.
Ms. Mcfarlane, you have the floor.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year's. As you know, my name is Beverly Mcfarlane. I'm the Resident Association Council President at Taft Houses, and I just wanted to know, will you be speaking about or saying anything about CB11 stance on the NYCHA Blueprint for Change tonight? Because a lot of us residents, leaders in East Harlem are opposed to this Blueprint for Change.
Well, I really hadn't planned on saying anything about it. I've said a lot about it in recent meetings, but the one thing is that being opposed to it as NYCHA residents, the thing is that the best thing that can be done now is that, since there is a new mayor in office, to make sure that he knows, because I'm quite sure that NYCHA residents let the previous mayor know that they were not wild about the idea. And also the thing is that, and also I'm taking a wait and see attitude on it anyway, because I remember infill during the Bloomberg administration disappeared when Bill de Blasio became mayor. Now, the thing is that I'm not sure what's going to happen with RAD and all this other stuff that they were talking about now that Eric Adams is mayor. But the thing is that we would like to get feedback from not just your development but from all developments in Manhattan North, because since we represent almost every development in Manhattan North, we would like to hear feedback from everyone.
Have you reached out, have the chair or any members from the housing committee reached out to CCOP Chair Ethel Velez from this Manhattan North, because her too is opposed?
No, I have not as of yet, but we will be reaching out to them because, and hopefully I'll be talking not to the chair and also getting information from the board of PSA 5 to get all the contact information for everyone as well, to try to gauge how the other TA presidents feel about this program. I see there is a hand up.
Yeah, you still have Jim Little up from the attendees, but Xavier just raised his hand.
Okay, Xavier.
I'm here. Hey, welcome. Welcome everyone to housing. And I'm sorry, I got knocked off of the meeting. What was the statement or question regarding CCOP and Ethel Velez?
Well, Ms. McFarlane is the Taft House's TA president, yep. and she asked, were we going to mention about anything about Blueprint for Change at tonight's meeting? That actually wasn't my plan, actually, but I did mention to her that we would like to gauge the feedback of all TA presidents in Manhattan North, since we represent all of the developments in Manhattan North, and also two developments in Manhattan South.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I can reach out to Ms. McFarlane as well, and I know we're in the process of maintaining and connecting with our TA presidents, and as we transition during this time, so that they know the timing of our meetings for the Housing Committee at CB11. Ms. McFarlane, I can definitely give you a call as well to follow up on this.
I thank you, because, I know this is up for, Gregory West is planning to bring this up in legislation when they resume that the Blueprint for Change passed. But remember, we are waiting for money from the federal government. So I don't understand why would he not kill the bill if he's expecting these monies from the federal government.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McFarlane.
I just want to go on record saying that I am opposed to the Blueprint for Change.
So noted. Is Marlene, is Jim Little still has his hand up?
Yes.
Mr. Little, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just wait till Upper Manhattan is introduced.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No other hands up, Marlene?
No, there aren't any more hands for announcements.
Okay. Are there any informational updates from anyone on the committee? I don't have any. So, but are there any informational updates from the committee or anyone in the public?
I don't see any hands raised, John.
Okay, so now we can get right into the meeting then. Okay, well, okay, first we have an informational presentation on on the relocation let's see, Mr. Haggerty from Able House.
Yes, thank you.
The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you for having us tonight. On the call with us tonight is Miss Patricia Jordan, our board chair. She's an attendee. Mr. Jim Little, he's Director of Operations and oversees Able House operations. And Miss Maritza Senna Charles, the on-site program director at Able House. The overview is that our lease is up at on a 3rd and 110th Street, and we've secured a new lease at 168 East 107th Street. Jim, would you like to take it from here?
Sure. We had been looking for a place to relocate, and just before I say anything about that, just a little bit about Able House. Able House is a community residence for men and women, 10 men and 10 women who are in recovery, and once they get to us, what we do in the 6 to 9 months that they're with us is help them find jobs, find housing, return to school, and reunite with their families. So that's what they're doing pretty much when they're there, and they're out all day doing that, and they come in the evening for groups and dinner, and that's in a nutshell what we do. We've been looking for a site, and we just happened to find one at 107th Street, which used to be occupied by the bridge. And we talked to the landlord about it, and as soon as we found the site that we wanted, we sent a note to the community board that we wanted to let you know that we were relocating a few blocks away. And we're still in the process of negotiating that out. So our intention is to do some minor repairs and then move in a month or so. That's it.
Okay. And that's your whole presentation?
That's pretty much it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I think we just want to let you know that we've been, since we've been in the neighborhood for 21 years, and that we just want to let you know that we're just moving a couple of blocks away, and as soon as we found a site, we notified you pretty much immediately.
That's appreciated. Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the committee?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes, thank you. Again, sorry I didn't say earlier, but Happy New Year to everyone, and a happier New Year for us this 2022. Yes, sir, can you tell me a little bit more about this program? I'm new to the board, so I'm not too familiar with what you do. Can you just give me a little idea of what you do?
Yeah, we're a not-for-profit organization, but we're funded and licensed by the New York State Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services, and we've been under their licensure for decades. And so we are what's called in the jargon a community residence, meaning that men and women who have completed rehab go into a community residence where they continue their recovery. And that what that means for us is that while they're with us, it could be as little as 6 months or as much as 9 or 10 months. Then we help them get employment and really find housing and return to school. Those are really the three main things that we do for them when they're there, and then they leave, and then they continue continue on in their recovery. We have we have a round the clock staff of counselors and clinicians, and we have, as the maximum we have are 10 men and 10 women. And so the staff to client ratio is pretty strong. It's about 1 to 4. And so it enables us to give a lot of individual attention to people who need it. I would say in the past number of years, what we found is that of the people who come to us, about 4 out of 5 of them go on to lead productive lives. They find employment, they find housing, they move out, and they're in the mainstream. And that's pretty much what our statistics have been over the past number of years. It's around 80 to 85%. And that's a little bit about who we are.
Beverly, I don't know if since you're new, Pantry is one of the 8 programs that come under the roof of the Emma L. Bowen Community Service Center. We're located at 145th in Amsterdam. Tell me if I'm repeating something you already know.
Like I said, I'm new to the community board and new to the housing. So the reason why I asked, because I was in a conversation with a friend of mine about a program that's needed. So when this came up, I'm like, the creator just told me that, something like this already exists in our community. And I just want to verify that. And I thank you very much for the explanation.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from the committee?
John, I believe Maritza from Able House has her hand raised, if you would like to recognize her.
Oh, sure. Maritza, the floor is yours. If you are speaking, we can't hear you. You may still be muted. Well, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to piggyback on what Mr. Jim Little was saying. We are a 819 program funded by OASIS and Department of Mental Hygiene. We are monitored by both of them. And like he said, we have 10 men and 10 women. While the clients are here, they attend outpatient, they attend vocational. We reunite them back with their family, with their children. A lot of them get housing. They do their vocational. And we take their urine. When they do come to us, they already have some clean time under their belt. They come from the rehab or they come from the crisis center. We have, like Jim said, we have been around for over 20 years. This program used to be called Enter, and then Able House and then Upper Manhattan took it over 21 years ago. So we've been around this community for a while with no incident, no problem. So we've been great. If you have any other questions.
I don't have any. And are there any other questions from the committee or the public, Marlene?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Beverly Mcfarlane just raised her hand. I'm sorry, John. She just
Ms. McFarlane?
Yes, I just want to know what is the age group of their participants, and also do they have mental health also, or they just, I just want to get a synopsis of what is the population.
Well, it's over 18. The age is over 18, and some of them could have bipolar, some of them have not severe mental health because we're not a micro program, but some of them could have coexistent mental health conditions like bipolar.
And what would be the criteria of them coming in? What is the intake process?
They come from the rehab or they come from a crisis center. We need to get a referral from a counselor. We need to get their medical. We need to get their blood work. We need to get their psych eval, psychosocial. And right now, because of COVID, we need to have the COVID test, the vaccine. And basically we do a phone screening. Then we also do a face-to-face, which now we're doing it via Zoom. So we have a very strict screening process to make sure that they do meet the rest of our community.
So they don't, it's not a coming off the street kind of thing. They have to be
No,
referred.
you gotta have some clean time, at least 28 to 30 days clean. They gotta come from a rehab or from a crisis center.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I see Stephanie Arroyo has her hand up. Steph?
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much, Able House, for coming to us. I just want to clarify, you did say that the longest that your clients or residents stay there is 6 months to 9 to 10 months?
6 to 9 months. It all depends on the individual. I have had some that have been here for 10 months, 11 months. If they're waiting on housing and they tell us they painting the apartment or something is going on, we'll keep them. We'll keep them until that apartment is ready. So it all depends on the individual.
Gotcha. So the idea is transitioning them to like temporary, this kind of like temporary housing into permanent housing.
Correct. That's the goal.
Okay. And then you also said that your staff to client ratio was 1 to 4?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Those were all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, Steph. Any other questions?
I don't see any more hands raised, John.
Okay, Thomas, Jim, excuse me, and Maritza, thank you so much for the presentation. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Next is Jasmine. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name because I will mangle it.
Espew.
Espew.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Awesome. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. Okay, can everyone see my screen all right?
I can see it.
Okay, great. Okay, so hi everyone. Happy 2022. I hope everybody is staying warm on this very cold day and your New Year's is off to a great start. My name is Jasmine Espew and I serve as the coordinator for the New York City Accelerator program. So today I'd like to spend some time today to introduce you to the program, what we do, the resources we offer, and how we could potentially help you. So if you have any questions, please save them till the end and I'll be happy to answer them. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. So before I get into the details of the program, I want to give you a little bit of background on New York City's sustainability goals. So by 2050, New York City wants to be carbon neutral. So what does it mean for a city to be carbon neutral? It means that by 2050, our carbon emissions should be at 0, or that we're offsetting whatever emissions we are producing. And New York is a little unique compared to the rest of the country because nearly 70% of New York City's emissions come from buildings. And by 2050, nearly all of those buildings are still going to be here. So because of this, New York City Accelerator focuses on making these buildings more energy efficient. When we talk about making our buildings more energy efficient, we mean using less energy to perform the same task. So what is the program? So we work with thousands of buildings across the 5 boroughs to build a cleaner future by lowering emissions, lowering pollution and carbon emissions. So it's a city-backed program. So it came from the Office of Climate and Sustainability in 2012. And it's designed to, we work with building owners, building managers, and landlords. And you're assigned a technical advisor or a program manager. They do an assessment of your building and they give you a list of energy efficiency upgrades that you can undertake. And there are a lot of different financing options and incentives available. It will depend on the location of your building, the size, the type, how long you might have owned that building. And it is at no cost to you. So it's completely free to sign up for the program. Whether or not you choose to undertake those energy efficiency upgrades is up to you. But it is free and it is offered by the Office of Climate and Sustainability. So going into a little bit more benefits, there are a series of local laws. I'm going to talk a little bit about those in the later slides, but depending on the size of your building, you might be required to comply with some local laws that were introduced in 2019. Also, financial and technical assistance. Sometimes these energy efficiency upgrades can be quite expensive. So working with an account manager to plan, finance, and complete these energy projects. And something that's also important to know is that this program is applicable for residential buildings, commercial buildings, and also new buildings. So if you or anyone you know is planning to create a building in the coming years, making sure that project is high performance so that it can comply with upcoming laws. And there are also trainings, so trainings for building owners, trainings for building operators as well. And these trainings are offered internally through the program, and we're constantly adding more. And also connecting with contractors. So depending on the type of energy efficiency upgrade, you'll likely need a contractor to do it. So we can set you up with contractors who have experience in your area doing that energy efficiency upgrade and that are also qualified. Maybe you've seen these building grades on buildings across New York City. If you live in a large enough apartment building, it might be posted in your lobby, but also commercial buildings as well, banks, hospitals, entertainment centers. And basically this is a result of Local Law 97. So buildings over 25,000 square feet will be required to meet new energy efficiency and greenhouse gas emission limits by 2024. So the city's already starting to roll out these building energy grades on buildings. And of course, A is what we're aiming for, but some buildings, the grade goes as low as a D. And so the goal of this program is to work with all buildings to get them to an A. And so since 2002, utility costs have increased by 20%, fuel costs have increased by 100%, and water costs have increased by 33%. So it's becoming increasingly more expensive to keep up with energy cost in New York City. And if you pay your own electricity bill, or if you've ever paid your own electricity bill, you know, prices also fluctuate depending on the season. So it's really important to live in a building that's energy efficient so that we can ensure that we're not paying an excessive amount for our energy bills. So what's the benefit of living in an apartment or a house that is energy efficient? So first and foremost, it's more comfortable as a tenant. If you've ever lived in an older building that's on steam heating, you have those big bulky radiators that are usually hot to the touch. You know, if you are living in one of those buildings, for example, you might have to open the window in the winter, you know, and that's a waste of energy. It's also creating a building that's more energy efficient leads to a higher market value if you're a building owner. That's obviously very appealing. And depending on who pays the utility bill, those savings can be passed off to the tenant, or or the building owner or manager can take advantage of that. Also, with more extreme weather events, you want to live in a house that is a little bit more resilient. You want to live in a building that's more resilient. And undertaking energy efficiency upgrades definitely helps with that. And of course, living in a cleaner and greener city. So going into who's eligible for the program. So as I mentioned before, so commercial and residential buildings that are over 5,000 square feet or with 5 or more units. So if you are an owner of a single family home or up to 4-family home, this program isn't for those houses, but there are other city programs. For example, Green NYC, that's a really great resource. And I can point you guys towards that as well, if applicable. And something that's also important to know, I talked a little bit about Local Law 97. Buildings under 25,000 square feet currently aren't subject to local law compliance. Even if you're not a building owner or building manager, there are still other resources within the program that you might be able to take advantage of. We have a lot of information about energy laws, technical primers, case studies, so building owners and managers who have already completed energy efficiency upgrades, and you get to see sort of their journey, how much they spent, how long it took. We also have internship programs for CUNY students. So if there are any CUNY students on this call, or if you know any CUNY students who might be looking for an internship this semester or next semester, New York City Accelerator also offers that. We also have a lot of building operator trainings, and you could also take advantage of this if you're not a building owner, even if you live in a single family house, if you're the person who does your own upgrades and you want to learn a little bit more about energy efficiency. We have building operator trainings that are completely free. It's a great program to take advantage of. So that's all I have for you guys today. You can visit our website for more information about the resources or the program itself. You can also email and call me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Yeah. I see there, but before I could even ask, there is a hand raised.
Yeah.
Beverly Mcfarlane, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much, Jasmine. I really appreciate the presentation. It's great information. My question is, as John stated earlier today, if you heard, there's a lot of NYCHA buildings and some buildings here that's owned by HPD. And I want to know whether or not these type of buildings would or could benefit from this program. Thank you. I'll wait for your answer.
Yeah, so currently only privately owned buildings. So any buildings owned by the city, this program is not applicable, including NYCHA. NYCHA typically, it's run by its own entity, so it's not able to take advantage of city programs like these, unfortunately.
Thank you, Beverly. Are there any other questions from the committee? Okay, are there, Marlene?
Hi, Jasmine. Is there any you could send this presentation for me? I would like to distribute it to the committee if you can.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Marlene. Are there any other questions from the committee or from the public? Okay. If not, Jasmine, thank you so much for
John, I'm sorry. Someone just raised their hand from the public, Beverly Mcfarlane.
Ms. Mcfarlane?
Yes, I just wanted to find out, will in the future they will be working with public housing? Will the city be working with public housing? Because in Community Board 11, we have a high infiltration of public housing as the other Beverly said.
Mhm. Right.
So it is very important. As a matter of fact, I'm here at TAF. We are in the process of getting new boilers, and it is driven by oil. So that's why I said, wouldn't it be a great idea to work in collaboration with city public housing?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, so unfortunately, right now, there are no plans within the program or within the Office of Climate and Sustainability to work with NYCHA buildings. There's nothing in the works currently because NYCHA has its own entity. It's run separately from a lot of other city programs. Unfortunately, there is nothing that I can do about that. And there are no resources within this program that can help NYCHA, unfortunately, except for example, like building operator trainings. So NYCHA building operators are able to take advantage of some of the internal trainings we have. But as far as working with an account manager to get a list of building upgrades, that's not applicable for NYCHA right now.
thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions?
Yes, John. Gus Rosado in the attendee section has their hand raised.
Okay, the floor is yours. If you're speaking, you're still muted, so because we don't hear anything.
How about now?
Okay.
The energy efficiency analysis report that you spoke about briefly that is being conducted for free on these buildings. Can you talk a little bit more about the extent of that analysis? What is it that's covered? How do you conduct this energy efficiency testing of the building and the report that you issue? What does that entail?
Right. So that's conducted by an account manager. When you sign up with the program, you get assigned an account manager to your building. So it can be an in-person walkthrough. It can be a virtual walkthrough. There's also an internal resource we use. So you provide us with your address, and we're able to access energy information from that building. So the extent of it will really depend upon the building, and also it's really at the pace of the building owner. So say, for example, you know that your building is very water inefficient. That could be something that the account manager focuses solely on. So it really just depends on the building type and what the building owner or manager wants.
Okay, so it's determined by the needs of the owner of the property.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Are there any other questions? Okay. Jasmine, thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you for coming this evening.
Of course. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, Marlene, what is next on the agenda? If there's anything. So we're going to have another discussion this month. Okay. Second. Okay, well, discussion goals for 2022. Well, yes, well, the thing is that this is something that's really important because, and speaking for myself, the thing is that what got a lot of members of the board and also members of the public kind of up in arms the last few weeks is the opening of that injection center here in the district. And the thing is that we should be going out and making sure what anything that any goals that we have, like outreach or anything like that, we should try to make sure that it's discussed and also that it's followed up upon. So are there anybody on the committee that has an idea that should be a goal or for 2022? And Beverly?
Yes. I want to refer to a email that we probably all had gotten from Angel regarding the citywide statement of needs and the 90-day commitment period. I was trying to ingest all the information that's here, and some of the stuff that I got out of it is that we in this statement can, I guess, request what type of sites are open in our community. And so I think this would be a great tool, if it had, I know you've probably been doing it in the past. I think for me, this seems to be a very good tool to address some of the problems that we have, like the open, the injection center that was open. From what I can understand, we can suggest what facilities can stay or expand and stuff like that. So I think this citywide statement of need for our district would be very beneficial. And I'm looking forward to helping be a part of that and making sure that we get the best type of facilities that helps our community and our residents in our community. And I just want to know if that's how this type of statement of needs work.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. Well, actually, and I fell behind with my reading over the holidays. I didn't get to that, didn't read that email that Angel said, but I will be reading it probably as soon as this meeting is over. But the thing is that if now the way I look at it, the thing is that there are some places that have been here for years, and they're basically have been good partners with the district. And I feel that these are people who should be worked with. Now, for me, as far as the injection center, that was really a slap in the face, because as I understand it, there was a moratorium on opening facilities like that in the district. And also the community board was told that the city had no intention of opening one here, and they basically flat out lied to us. And it also made everybody else look bad, because according to some members of the community, it made it look like we were complicit, and we weren't. So the thing is that if I'll be reading up on that email, and if that's something that can be done with district needs, we will get together with some members of the board, and we will comprise put together a plan, I should say. Thank you, Beverly. Steph, you have your hand up.
Hey, thank you. So I think one of the things that this committee should be moving forward working on, is the community land trust. We have the community land trust that is soon gonna have available apartments. And we all got the email about Sendero Verde that has also opened up the housing lottery.
Right.
I don't know if there's any other properties that are going to have more housing, but I think we should do a better job at knowing when these properties are going to start, developers are going to start working on these properties, and have a better idea and start getting our community prepared to apply for these apartments or for whatever is going to come. Also, it's been mentioned here a few times, Blueprint, and I believe NYCHA had said that they were going to come back to us and present to us again.
Right.
I don't remember. I know they did it 2 times last year. I don't know if they were doing it again this year. But those are the only few things that I have in mind that I would like us to accomplish this year.
All right, Steph, thank you very much. And also, like I had mentioned earlier, the thing is that outreach is particularly with NYCHA, because since we have like the district of Community Board 11 has the largest concentration of public housing of any other district in New York City. And the thing is that uh, we basically all of us should be working with them and talking to them about any issues that they may have. So that should be another goal for 2022. And oh, I see Xavier. Xavier, the floor is yours.
Hi, evening, everyone. Thank you. One of the big things that is John discussed outreach, and another part that we should really focus on is something John and I and a lot of the chairs have already had conversations with, is follow-up throughout the process and chasing down attendees and agencies who've attended and presented and said they would follow up. And as we move through into the next quarter, we're going to be focused on what, and as you discuss this now, just keep in mind, what are the goals we want to achieve, and whether it's rebuilding and cultivating relationships within our NYCHA TA associations, and working with the leadership there, as well as the agency leads, and how we can begin to bring everyone together to solve the many problems. And that's just one area, as well as what Stephanie mentioned with CLTs. I just want to call attention with the application process with Sendero Verde. That's a huge accomplishment that took, what, John, 4 or 5 years in the making, something to that effect. So I think that's just gone live with the lottery. So I just, again, as you plot out this next year and the following years goals, is that make sure we keep tabs on those benchmarks. But I want to tell you, everyone, I'm very enthralled and excited to work with everyone, and thank you so much for your trust. And I'll turn it back to you, John.
Thank you, Xavier. Also, one personal goal for me is to get my butt to the land use committee meetings, because the thing is that a lot of what happens with land use has to do with housing. So I should get my butt there ASAP. Beverly Pavone, I forgot there's 2 Beverlys tonight.
Yes, I just want to piggyback on what Xavier and Stephanie said with the housing, because the community land trusts do give people opportunities for home ownership. And I think home ownership should be a serious goal for 2022, even if it may come up with some ideas of having the opportunities even extended to NYCHA, since they want to give, other private owners or private management companies a bid onto how to manage and take over NYCHA projects. Maybe, even thinking about giving them the opportunity to own maybe one building out of a NYCHA complex and its home ownership. So for me, I think the committee for this community would really benefit from programs that are geared towards home ownership of low income housing for our community. In regards to I came across some information regarding the drug injection center. It was an article on WNYC. I'll try to put the link into the chat. That this was discussed back in 2018 with Bill de Blasio, and East Harlem was part of the conversation, I believe, for having this. So even though it was a slap in the face that they just put it in here without coming to the board, I believe from this article it hints very strongly that since 2018, they were looking at East Harlem as being a possible site for this injection center. And regarding the land use that you spoke of, John, I am on the committee, the land use committee, and I would, whatever information I can get, I can definitely pass on to you if you're not able to participate in going to the meetings. So because it is, like you said, it is a link between the two committees to work together.
That is appreciated, Beverly. Thank you very much. But one thing I will piggyback on what you said about the drug injection center. This is not the opinion of community brother, this is the opinion of John Green, me. The thing is that this thing was rushed in the service because Bill de Blasio was leaving office. And the thing is that sometimes people want things that's part of the agenda not to be left hanging and hopefully be done by their successor. So the thing is that, so basically time was of the essence, so it was placed here. But that's my personal opinion. So, but like the thing is that like I said, I'm not speaking for the board. I'm just speaking for me. Okay, but are there any other comments that from the committee? Okay.
Any more hands up from the committee, but I'm not sure if someone from the attendees has something to say. Beverly has her hand up.
Ms. McFarlane, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Yes, also would like to piggyback on Beverly number one's comment in terms of, because I guess I'm Beverly number two. But Beverly number one had mentioned something about home ownership. I just want to make sure the committee knows that resident leaders in East Harlem is already talking about resident management companies. So that's what we're looking into. If Gregory West is saying, they're not doing a great job. So we are looking into developing resident management companies for ourselves to take over our own developments. And maybe we'll do a better job. And we're looking for the state and the federal government and the city to, facilitate or help in that process.
Great idea.
Okay, so I guess Greg Russ is staying on even though there's new mayor. Okay, use your new broom squeeze clean. So, but okay, well, that sounds like a great idea. The thing is that's something that residents should look into, because this is from the development that I live in. I live in Lexington, and I was told that managers had to create their own resource file for anything that they needed. And the thing is that I'm not saying people are incompetent. I'm just saying that there are some people that know how to do things and some people who do not. And the thing is that what they should have done was to give them some guidance and hopefully they trained them to do that. And because the thing is that it takes so long to get a repair done or get a piece of equipment done. Like if you need a new stove or a new refrigerator, sometimes it takes forever and a day to get it. And it should listen. I was without a working refrigerator for 14 months back in 2014. So the thing is that it's hard. It's hard and it can be frustrating. So the thing is that's something. Hopefully, maybe if we reach out and can work together with the TA presidents, perhaps that there can be some improvement with that. It's praying against all hope, but I'm willing to try.
Well, underneath the 964 HUD regulations, there is room and language in the federal regulations that state that they should be encouraging residents to develop resident management corporations.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if anybody else on the committee was here a couple of years ago. There was a housing lawyer that came and presented with us when Jeremiah Schlotman was the committee. I think her name was Lucy Newman. And she mentioned that. And I was basically intrigued by it myself. So that's something that the NYCHA residents want to look into. I think that's something that should be encouraged. Are there any other comments from the committee or from the public?
I don't see any raised hands, John.
Okay. So, we will be getting back to this actually on a monthly basis, and for sure next month we may have a brief discussion on budget and district needs. You know, this has become a 12 month a year thing, and in some cases we also go to summer school with this. So it's because it's going to have to be done pretty much before you know it anyway. So we might as well keep it in mind somewhat. But is that's it for the presentation discussions for this month, Marlene?
Yes.
Okay. Next is there any old business that needs to be discussed? Okay, I hear crickets. All right. So next thing is now, is there any new business that we have a hand up? Beverly Pavone, not McFarlane, but Pavone. Beverly, yes, ma'am.
My thing is mostly I don't know how it's into new business or old business, but I came across a development site here on 127th, 126th Street and Park Avenue for a new residential. And I just wanted to try to find out if a presentation came to the committee regarding this development. I think the address is 1884 Park Avenue. And it's from 126th Street to 127th Street on Park Avenue. But within that block, it's also a piece of property that's owned by the city. So I don't know if they took over that. You know, I just don't know anything about that development. And I don't, you know, I'm new, and it could have been a project that was came before I became a board member. And I just want to know
I don't
they starting
recall.
to do work over it. It used to be a parking lot. So when I seen that it said residential, I'm like, okay, don't they supposed to come to the board to change, you know, if it's from a residential, from a parking lot to a residential, or, you know, I just was wondering about that.
I would think so, Beverly, but I don't recall it because, and if they did, it had to be back when Jeremiah was chair. Because to get a building built, it takes a while. So that had to be a while back. But Steph, you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. So 1884 Park Avenue is a private development. From my understanding, the developer only has to come to us when they're changing something, but depending on what it's zoned for, if it's zoned for a building and they're building it at the height that it's zoned for, there's really no need for them to come to the community board. It's nice that they do it, and some developers will do it, but usually, from my understanding, that's not the case if it's a private and they don't need anything from us.
Okay.
Thank you, Steph. We have some sharp people here.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just a little bit.
Okay, anything else? No new business? Okay. In my younger days, I would say something else, but I've become more diplomatic in my old age.
John, you have a hand up. I'm sorry, from Beverly Mcfarlane again, please.
Ms. McFarlane?
I know you're getting tired of me, but I have
No. That's
as you
what
can
this is
see,
for.
Beverly's always asks questions. We are question driven. But the one question I have, and I am finding it very difficult, for my residents are finding it very difficult, is the application process for those new buildings. You know, we are located, TAF is located right adjacent to this property, and I have reached out to Diana's office and as well as Robert Rodriguez's office, and no one has the physical applications. They saying to go on Housing Connect. Even myself have an issue in trying to upload information on Housing Connect that's leading me not to be able to apply for these apartments. So what is the process, or is there anywhere that residents or even seniors that don't have the ability to go on Housing Connect that want to get some of these applications that, like I said, we right adjacent to this property on Madison Avenue, 112th Street. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the property.
Well,
The
the
new
thing is that,
buildings.
you know, that's a big problem. The thing is that sometimes they do think everybody wants things done online. Not everybody is computer savvy. But
John, you're echoing.
okay. Better?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Steph?
So in regards to Housing Connect, it is easier and it's a better process when they do it online. Previously, when they had Housing Connect 1, there was a way where you can request for the application to be sent to you. And usually in other offices, what they would do is make a copy of that application and give it to residents. I don't know if that's still going on because of COVID, but I do know that there's housing ambassadors. One of the housing ambassadors is 115 Block Association, which is an organization that Candy Vives works for. So I don't know, I don't think Candy's here today, but she's usually here. She'd be the best person to speak to in regards to that, I think, unless someone else here knows.
Yeah, but I you know, again, is there any organizations that's giving out physical?
So that would be the house. It would be the housing ambassadors who do that because they're contracted by New York City to provide assistance with the application process when it comes to Housing Connect. And one of those organizations would be.
Well, I know
115 Block.
Candy, I am aware of that. I'm aware of that, Stephanie. I'm aware that she's an ambassador because I had spoke to her about the problems we haven't on that I myself had on via the online. And again, we should not, to me, everyone is not tech savvy. I have a lot of residents that have not even they don't have any a service, internet service or computers in their home. And you know, it's a shame that we have to, everything is via the internet when you are really limited other people to even get on. So that's why I said before it used to be like you would pick it up at Diana's office or Robert's office that had paper applications back in the day. So that's why I'm asking that question.
Correct, but the only ones who would probably be able to get it would be the housing ambassadors because they're the ones who are actively working with those applications. I would assume. I'm not sure. Candy's not here, so I wouldn't know. But last I remember, it would be the housing ambassadors who could assist in that regards.
Thank you.
I think we lost John.
We did.
Hey,
Yeah, Xavier, you can just
Beverly,
go ahead. Mhm.
yeah, just real quick, Beverly, to answer your question, hold on a second. I was trying to add it as an attachment on Zoom through my phone. There is, when you have the apply option on housingconnect.nyc.gov, they have apply online and right below apply by mail. And they have to request an application by mail, send a self-addressed envelope to Sendero Verde Phase 1 / Triborough Finance News Station, comma, P.O. Box 2011, New York, New York, 10035. I'm going to try and see if I can copy and paste this link in for you before we disconnect, but that's where they can send the envelope and the instructions. So just give me a moment to see if I can send that across. But I do agree that's one of the challenges we've faced as a community in general is the technological divide, whether that is due to access or due to other limitations. Having personally helped people fill out these applications, I know how cumbersome it can be. So just give me a moment.
I appreciate that, Xavier.
Xavier, are you still speaking or you're going to post the link for Beverly?
I'm just, I'm done. I want to say thank you, everyone so much. I'm hoping John comes back on to sign off. I'm just getting the link and I'll pop it in the chat. So just bear with me just a moment.
No problem.
Thank you, Stephanie, for typing that down. Just give me a moment. Let's see if this has it right here. In that link, you should be able to navigate and it'll say to apply online or apply by mail. I may present another button with a hyperlink. If you have any questions, Beverly, I think you have my phone number.
Yes, I'll go online and see.
Sorry, folks, internet issues. As we were talking about it being tech savvy around here, I'd become a genius all of a sudden. Sorry about that, guys, but I am back. But well, actually, what we were going to do was actually, we hadn't gotten to adjournment yet. Okay, fine. So basically, I didn't miss anything. But basically, the thing is that Ms. McFarlane, I heard you and Xavier were discussing something. Well, I'm sure that Xavier will get back to you on anything that you may, that any issues that you may have. I have every confidence in that. But other than that, are there any other statements, comments, or anything that anyone has to make? Okay, well.
Would you like to take attendance now?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Stephanie Arroyo.
Here.
Thank you. Roger had to leave early. John Green.
Here.
Thank you. Robert Harvey.
Here.
Thank you. Jada Heredia. Ivy Hume.
Yes, here.
Alonzo Johnson. Robin Krinsky.
Present.
Thank you. Beverly Pavone.
Present.
Thank you. And Candy Vives Vasquez.
Okay, so now with that, I proclaim that this meeting is now adjourned at 7:46 p.m. and the next housing meeting, I believe, will be on Monday, February 7th, I believe, if that's correct. If not, it will be on the schedule on our website. But have a good evening, everyone, and again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Second Beverly. Yeah, have a good evening, everyone.
You too.